for joining me. My name is Jenna. If you are new, welcome to my channel, Queen of Diamonds. I hope you'll consider sticking around. I would love to have you here. For those of you returning, welcome back and thank you so much for continuing to tune in and support my channel. Today I am here with my weekly whip and chat. It is Thursday, November, I'm looking at my calendar, November 13th. Oh, I actually did change my date on my calendar. I never do that. I used to be in the habit of changing that little calendar every day, and then I got out of the habit over the summer, and I have not picked that habit back up. So I really need to get back in that of every morning changing that. But I guess I did do it today. I'm shocked. Truly, I am shocked. Anyway, today is Thursday, November 13th. And I'm recording this Thursday night so that it will go up on Friday. That is normally when I like to record my whip and chats. Sometimes I don't make that happen, but for the most part, I try to be quite regular about that. Anyway, thank you for joining me for this whip and chat. For those of you who are new, WIP stands for work in progress, and chat means we're just going to chat and catch up. And you don't have to work on a diamond painting, by the way. You can work on whatever you'd like. Can be any type of craft, or you can listen to this as a podcast while you're running around. I like to stick my AirPods in and listen to other people's whip and chats as I'm running around or getting things done around my house. That's my normal thing to do. Anyway, I appreciate you joining me no matter what you're working on. I will be working on a diamond painting tonight from Jada Gem Shop. This is one that I kitted up for the month of November, but I'm not kidding you. I will not even get halfway in the month of November. This diamond painting is going to be fabulous. It's going to be so pretty, but it's got a lot of confetti, a ton of confetti. Now, this is what Jada Gem Shop refers to as a hybrid kit. So they are a little more on the confetti heavy side. Now, they also have another type of canvas called Pixel Charted, which is less confetti and a little more color blocking. It's a little more of a combination of both. I've only done one Pixel Charted kit from Jada Gem Shop before, and it did not have as much confetti as the hybrid kits do. I prefer the hybrid kits myself because I like a lot of confetti. But just so you know, that is one of the biggest differences between the two types of canvases. I like both, but like I said, confetti is kind of my thing. Let me show you this original artwork for those of you who are like, what does this diamond painting even look like? This is Floresta. Isn't she pretty? Lots of greens, a very pretty diamond painting. And honestly, I wouldn't think that it was going to have as much confetti as it does, but it's going to have a lot of really pretty detail in it. This is by the artist Victoria Lil. I don't know if I said that. It's a square drill kit, and the size is 60 by 65 centimeters. It has 62 colors with 2 fairy dust drills, or I can't remember what Jada Gem Shop calls them. I think they call them glimmer drills, but they're like Diamond Art Club's fairy dust drills. She's very pretty. Let me show you the accessories that I have, and then we'll get started on the whip and chat. I've also got to warn you that my guinea pigs might be a little bit loud today. I put one of their tunnels in here that they just love, and I thought about taking it out, but I don't want to because they really love this tunnel. Let me show you what this tunnel looks like. So this is the tunnel that I put in their cage tonight, and as you can tell, it's really noisy, that crinkling sound. I have to take it out before I go to bed, but when I put it in there this morning, they have just been loving on this tunnel. So we'll see how it goes. If it gets too loud and obnoxious, then I'll take it out. But see, they're even fighting over it right now. They love it. Two of them are trying to get into it at the same time. Anyway, so funny. So hopefully they will be mellow for the whip and chat, but you just never know. Sometimes they just turn on and start talking like crazy. Okay, let me show you these accessories. The pen I'm using for this diamond painting is from Bistro Exclusives, and it's this really pretty kind of outdoorsy type pen with the butterflies, because there are butterflies in the original artwork. So I kind of thought it went along with it. Plus there's kind of these forest type garden greeneries in this pen. Very pretty. So that's the pen I'm using. for this diamond painting. My tweezers are from Diamond Art Club, as well as my multi-placer. This is one of Diamond Art Club's stainless steel multi-placers, and this is a 6-placer. So those are my two other little accessories. And then my trinket tray is from a shop that has closed down. I found them on Etsy, and they were called Kuko Crafts, but they have since closed. And it's very sad because this is a really nice trinket tray, and it's very pretty. Look at that, how there's those pine leaves in there, and it's kind of a fall winter pen or trinket tray. I just think it's very pretty. So that's the trinket tray I'm using. Let me show you my cover minder from Galloway's Gallery. I didn't really have any forest type cover minders, which is so weird. So I grabbed this one, which is a fall cover minder. It says, caramel apples, pumpkin pie, fall is here, my oh my. So that's my cover minder. And my release paper is from Bee's Crafty Corner. And this is cut in 4x4 sections on glossy, thick paper. And it is called Lotus Dreams by Jorge Urbina. Urbina, I think I'm saying that right. Anyway, I thought this went well with this kit. Now, I didn't have really anything that would go along with this that had a lot of green in it, but there are lily pads in the original artwork, and these have lily pads. So I did the best I could. Anyway, that's my release paper. The putty I am using in my multi-placer is from Black Dahlia Diamond Art, and it is called Woodland Hideaway. I couldn't remember. I think I got this in spring of 2024, so I've had this one for a while. And the wax I'm using in my single placer is from Patty Wax, and it's called Mother Nature. These two actually smell really good together, and they're both kind of outdoorsy type titles anyway. My washi tape is from Simply Gilded. It's just this really pretty green washi tape. My tray is this is from the shop formerly known as Yellow Dog Designs, my green tray. I really like these trays, and I'm sad that they have closed down. I think that is everything, right? I think that covers everything. My WIP kit is from Black Dahlia Diamond Art. It's got my name on it. This is one of the customized WIP kits from Black Dahlia, as well as this over here is also from Black Dahlia. So if you're interested in that, check out those items on Black Dahlia. Oh yes, and then my trash pot is from Rebecca, and this is actually the trash pot I've been using with Gorgona, but it kind of goes along with this kit because it does kind of match the green in this. So that's what I'm using. Love that trash pot. All right, I think that covers everything. And I've told you all about the diamond painting. So I'm gonna change your angle and we will get started on the WIP and Chat. This is the section that we will be working on for today's WIP and Chat. I'm gonna go ahead and get my pen loaded up with the putty and the wax. First, what I need to do is get my multi-placer into my pen. I'm going to be using the washi tape method. There are other methods you can use to get your washi tape or to get your multi-placer to fit in there. I like doing the washi tape method simply because I just don't have enough multi-placers to hot glue the multi-placers into my pens. So I prefer to use the washi tape method. All right, so I'm going to wrap the washi tape around the base like that. And the goal here is to get this multi-placer to fit firmly into the pen, because a lot of the time your multi-placer is not going to fit snugly into your pens. You've got to find a way to get it to stay in there really well. And that's pretty good. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more because I don't want that to wiggle around while I'm working with it. One of these days, I'm going to have enough multi-placers to just hot glue them into all of my pens, but that day is not here right now. But someday soon, I hope. Okay. This doesn't have to be perfect. Obviously, I am not doing a perfect job. Mine are actually often very messy, but I get it to be in there firmly and I'm good to go. That's all that matters, right? And that's pretty firm. Okay. So we've got that in. Now I'm going to put the wax in my single placer end. I really love the smell of this wax. Patty Wax wax bricks are always decorated so pretty. This one smells so good, and it is very, very pretty. Look at those decorations in that wax brick. It smells so good. Okay, I'm gonna just scrape my single placer along that. Now I overfilled it, so what I'm gonna do is just clean off the sides, and I'm gonna press down on my fingernail and try to get the excess wax onto my fingernail instead of the drills that I place onto my canvas. All right, hopefully that's good now. Okay, I'm gonna put this back in here so it stays nice and fresh in the Ziploc bag. Let's see if I can get it in there. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna seal that bag back up. It smells so good. And now we're gonna do putty in the multi-placer. So I'm gonna bring this putty out. This was one of the first putties I got from Black Dahlia. I started ordering from Black Dahlia soon after I started my channel, and I instantly loved Black Dahlia's products. Okay, what you want to do when you're using putty in your multi-placer is you just take your multi-placer and press down like you're cutting cookies with a cookie cutter, and you just kind of wiggle it around. Try to cut that putty around the edges like you would with cookie dough, and then bring it up, and I'm going to make sure that's pressed in there super good. I'm going to give it a second go just because there are some areas where it's not completely full. And again, I'm just going to wiggle it, try to cut that putty, and there we go. Okay, and then I'm going to clean up the sides so that there is no excess putty on the edges, because then you'll be picking up extra drills, and that's no good. No bueno. Okay, put that back into the little Ziploc pouch, and we are good to go. All right, I'm just trying to rearrange things because I've got my phone plugged in and the cord is kind of in my way. Now I've got to turn on my light board. There we go. That is so much better. My little old lady eyes can see now. Okay, I got it all set up and ready to go. I'm just trying to, okay, where's my tray? Oh, here it is. Oh, wow, okay, now I think I'm actually ready. I'm trying to get this canvas to lay flat over on this side because you can't see over here, but over on this side, my canvas is kind of smushed against my light just because of the way that I have to maneuver my canvas on my table. So I think we're okay now. All right, I'm going to peel up this release paper and look at this section. There's so much confetti, but it's going to be so pretty. I mean, look at these sections over here and the amount of detail. It's just amazing. Oh my gosh. This diamond painting is going to be just absolutely phenomenal. Okay, the first symbol that we are going to be working with is P. So I always work from the bottom right-hand corner and go this way. And I just take each symbol as I come across it. So while I have a symbol in my tray or a color in my tray, I try to get all of that color in this section. Never fails. I always miss it. I always miss a few of them, but I do try to get as many as I can while that color is in my tray, just to save myself a little bit of time so that I'm not continuously putting the colors in and out of my tray. Oh my gosh, I remember when I first learned how to diamond paint, I would go symbol by symbol up the row and then come right back down. And yes, I'd put them in my tray and I would do whatever was in that row, but then I'd put the symbol back in its bottle and go from row by row. Oh my gosh, what a time sucker that was. So, you know, some of those things come with time, experience. I wish I had watched some people on YouTube to learn how to do things, but I was just trying to figure it out myself. Anyway, all right, so this is the first color we're going to be working with. It is DMC number 320. It's a really pretty foresty green color. We'll get all of the P's in this section, and then we'll move on to the next symbol. This week's just been a little bit of a doozy, and I'm going to explain why. Okay, I'm moving this over just a little bit because of cords and things that are in my way. I don't want my tray to dump my drills all over the place. So I know that's crooked, but that's the best I can do. I'm going to actually zoom you in just a little bit so you can see a little better what I'm doing. And there, now you're not crooked. I'm still viewing it the same, but at least you're not crooked. Okay. We've had a just really weird week this past week, and I'll tell you why. I mean, some of it, I don't know why it's been weird, but there is a reason that some of it's been weird, and I can tell you. First of all, let me start where I left off. So last week on Friday, I think I actually recorded my WIP and chat on Friday last week and put it up on Saturday. I think last week I was running behind. I can't remember for sure, but I think I did. And let's see. Saturday, we didn't do a lot on Saturday. The girls and I just kind of hung out here. I did have to go to work. That's right. I did work some of Saturday because I had taken Thursday off. Because for those of you who will remember watching this in my WIP and chat last week, I had my apartment inspections last week. And so for the sake of trying to keep all the animals kenneled, I just take the day off when we have inspections, because then that way I can make sure our animals don't escape and get out. But yeah, so I took the day off on Thursday. I did go over and shower Sid, and then came back here and waited for the inspections to get over, but I made up the time on Saturday. So Saturday I worked most of the day, and it wasn't too bad. Sunday was my designated diamond painting day because I did not get a lot of diamond painting in on Saturday, simply because I had a lot of interruptions. I had stuff to do with my kids. Allie wanted me to spend some time with her, so I was spending time with her, and it just seemed like I couldn't get a lot of diamond painting time in on Saturday. So I decided to stop stressing myself out about it on Saturday and just do the best I could on Sunday and dedicate Sunday to diamond painting. It's a little tricky for me to do that because, you know, I do get constantly interrupted by either the dog or my kids or, you know, whatever. And I always have other things to do on a daily basis that have to be done. For example, you know, the normal stuff, which is dishes, cooking, and then weekends are my big laundry time. And I change my guinea pig's cage every day. That can be a little bit time consuming as well. And so for the most part, when I say dedicate a day to diamond painting, yes, I dedicate the day, but that doesn't mean that every minute of my day is spent diamond painting. On the contrary, I wish sometimes that it was like that, but I do try to put in a day here and there where I'm just diamond painting as much as I can. Sunday was a little bit tricky though, but I did get some time in. I worked on shimmering canvases all last week. The diamond painting that I used in my WIP and chat. It is titled Celine by Namiria Art. I worked on that all weekend. I had given some thought as to putting it away and pulling out my In Everything Give Thanks, because I really need to work on that kit for November. But I was just really captivated by Celine. So I just kept working on that one. And I worked on that until Monday. Then I decided to call it good and put it away and bring out In Everything Give Thanks. So that's kind of what I did. And it put me a little bit behind schedule on my November projects, but it's okay. I mean, you know, sometimes the important thing is to just enjoy your projects. And that's what I decided on the weekend, was just to relax and enjoy the one I felt like working on, which just happened to be that one. So that's what I did over the weekend. And then Monday was I'm trying to think. I'm drawing a blank as far as what we did. Monday was pretty mellow. I feel like Monday was the day that we went and took my aunt in for an ultrasound, but that might have been on Tuesday. Now I'm getting those 2 days mixed up. But anyway, on one of those days, we ended up taking my aunt in for an ultrasound. Well, when I say we ended up, it wasn't like an emergency ultrasound. She actually had it scheduled. Her kidney specialist that we went and saw a couple weeks ago recommended her getting a ultrasound done on her kidney, and we never got it scheduled. So they called to schedule it, and we ended up scheduling it for Monday or Tuesday, one of those days. I can't even remember. And so we took her in for that, and that was good. We don't know. I mean, we don't have the results back from the kidney ultrasound, but we also did some blood work, and they've sent the results of the blood work and the ultrasound into the kidney specialist, and we meet back with him in, I think, another week on the 25th. So we'll find out on the 25th how all of that looked. But according to the kidney specialist, she's still staying pretty stable in stage 4 kidney failure. Luckily, it hasn't progressed to stage 5, but hopefully that's what the ultrasound and the blood work show. Most of the reason why we wanted to do the ultrasound and the blood work was because she has just been really off and really lethargic and tired. So the doctor, upon hearing that, said, well, we can do an ultrasound and some blood work and see what it shows. So we don't have the results back from that, but we'll get those back on the 25th. I remember it's the 25th because the 25th is the same day that we are going to have a tour of that house we were looking at. And both of those things are on the same day, so 25th. And the tour is at 4:30, but Sid's appointment with the kidney specialist is at 2 o'clock. So I should be able to squeeze both of those things in. Looking for the star. Okay. Anyway, so that's kind of what's been going on with my aunt. And then yesterday was a pretty crazy day. I'll tell you why. Yeah, so I was at work on last week. Actually, this is when it all started. I hope my mom doesn't mind that I'm telling this story. But last week, I was on the phone with a friend of mine, and as I'm talking to her, I saw something in the corner of my eye that looked like either a baby mouse or a really big spider. I did not see it enough to really tell what it was, but it zoomed by me really fast. And I saw it in the corner of my eye, so I was not able to get a good look at whatever it was. But being that I am so freaked out by spiders, I automatically got on top of my chair and I was just like, oh my gosh, I think I just saw a spider. So I was really freaked out. And my friend who I was talking to said, well, it was probably a mouse if it moved that quickly. And it's true, but we have never had mice in my mom and dad's house, but we do get some really big spiders. And my parents have lived in this house for 6 or 7 years, and we've never had mice. But my mom's neighbor just recently started getting mice, and my mom lives in a duplex. So if our neighbor's getting mice and we're in a duplex, chances are the mice are going to make their way over to my mom's house. Now, my mom's neighbor has caught mice, and she has not had any more of a problem with them in the past 2 weeks. Well, that's because we think they've come over to my mom and dad's house. But in any case, I wasn't really sure. We have not seen any other signs of mice. And my mom and I went and looked in the storage room that is by where I diamond paint. And I keep finding more stars. So I keep putting these back in my tray. Anyway, we went and looked in the storage room and we could not find any signs of mice. No mice droppings, no signs of mice getting into food. Nothing like that, because my parents do have a food storage. But we looked through everything and we could not find any traces of what looked like a mouse problem. So my mom was like, I think you're seeing things. And I said, no, I am not seeing things. I know I saw something. but when we looked up and didn't find any traces of a mouse, I said, well, I bet it was a really big spider, Mom. And I'm like, it had to have been, but I'm like, that would be a massive spider. And she said, well, I think you're just hallucinating. And I'm like, no, I swear I saw something in the corner of my eye. So anyway, here we are on Wednesday. I haven't seen anything like that since that one day. I'm just looking to make sure I'm not missing any of this symbol, but I probably am. This is what happens in high confetti kits, is I overlook symbols. Okay, I do it on just about every diamond painting. It doesn't have to be one with high confetti. Anyway, so on Wednesday morning, my mom and Kennedy and I were sitting up in the kitchen, and I can't remember where Sid was. I think she was back in bed, or maybe we hadn't gotten her up yet, but it was pretty early in the morning on Wednesday. And we were sitting in the kitchen talking, and all of a sudden, Kennedy just went, whoa, there's a mouse. And my mom and I were like, what? And she said, it went under your fridge, Nana. And my mom said, no, it didn't. And Kennedy said, Nana, yes, it did. Well, Fallon was right there, but Fallon really doesn't care. He doesn't really care about mice. I mean, he could care less. So the only reason he even started barking was because of Kennedy's quick reaction. He gets really nervous when anybody is like screams or yells or hollers, then he starts panicking. But anyway, so she said, yes, there was. It went under your fridge. And my mom said, I don't think so, Kennedy. Fallon would have been freaking out. And I said, Mom, Fallon doesn't care. He's not a cat. He's not going to go after a mouse. And my mom said, no, there was not a mouse, and she's in complete denial about it. And Kennedy just looks at me and she's like, yes, there was. I know what I saw. So anyway, my mom, Kennedy was really freaked out and did not want to get off of the chair. And so my mom said, look, I'll prove it to you. I'm going to pull the fridge out. So my mom pulled the fridge out. It's just on wheels. And back behind the fridge, I was looking and I said, Mom, there are mouse turds back there. And she's like, stop it. No, there aren't. And I said, yeah, those are mouse droppings. We looked and they're really small because this probably wasn't a very big mouse. But my mom said, well, where did it go? And we looked up and there was an electrical outlet on the wall that doesn't have a plate on it. And my mom said, oh my gosh, I bet it went right in there. And I said, no way could that mouse fit in there. And my mom said, no, it can. They can fit in the smallest of little holes. Well, I didn't know that mice don't have any bones, or they don't have a lot of bones. They're mostly just fur. So they can get into all kinds of stuff. And the other thing I did not know was that they can scale walls. I had no idea. That is freaky. So, because I was saying, well, how would it get up to the electrical outlet? And my mom said, they can climb up walls. And I said, climb walls, mice? No, they can't. Well, we Googled it. They can scale walls and they can climb up electrical cords. Well, of course, the fridge is plugged in back there, so there is a cord. So that little sucker went right up through that electrical outlet and was in the wall, we're thinking. So we stood guard in the kitchen pretty much the whole day, trying to figure out how we were going to deal with this mouse problem. My mom was actually handling this really well. She was remaining pretty calm. I would think, if you know my mom, she's kind of a germaphobe. I would have thought that my mom would have been a little bit more freaked out, but she was being very calm. Mice scare me only because they are very fast. And before you can even get a scream out, those suckers have darted and taken off. And so they take me by surprise. I don't think they're scary like I do spiders. I don't like spiders at all. Spiders just really give me, like creep me out big time. I don't have a tendency to have hyperventilating or anything like that over mice. I don't have nightmares, anything like that. I have been known to have nightmares over spiders, and I hyperventilate when I feel like there's a spider around. So anyway, I wasn't too scared, just simply because they move really fast, and that tends to startle me. But other than that, they don't really scare me per se. Now, rats, I can't stand. I cannot stand rats. Again, I'm not scared of them so much as they are just nasty. And I know mice are too, but mice are at least a little bit cute. Whereas rats are just not cute at all. They're kind of ugly. But anyway, so we stood guard in the kitchen most of the day on Wednesday. And it was really funny because Aunt Sid was, when she joined us in the kitchen, she was just like, where's that mouse? You know, so she kind of comprehended what was going on, but she also thought that we were going to be able to show it to her. And we were like, it took off, it's hiding, it's gone. So anyway, then after a little while, it was at about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I went downstairs to diamond paint. Sid was, she had been down watching a movie, but I think she was back upstairs at this point, and my mom was feeding them dinner. And I had to work late on Wednesday because we had, I got to work late. So I was planning on working until like 6 on Wednesday. Well, at 3 o'clock, they were all upstairs eating, and I was downstairs diamond painting. And all of a sudden, I see this brown mass shoot across the floor right under my nose. And I knew it was a mouse. So I am down there just freaking out at that point because it really did startle me. And so Kennedy and my mom came down. We had set a few traps up in the upstairs. My mom didn't want to set the kind that snap them. So we had gone, Kennedy and my mom went to the hardware store and got the Tomcat kind where they crawl inside and it kills them. So they brought some of those traps down, and again, Kennedy and I are on the chairs, and my mom was the brave one over trying to find it. Well, she's like, I don't think you really saw a mouse. And I said, Mom, stop. Yes, I did. I know what I saw. And Kennedy said, Nana, you didn't believe me, and then we found mouse droppings, and now you're not believing Mom. So my mom went over to the chest. If you've seen any of the videos that I film while I'm at my mom and dad's house, there are those glass cupboards and shelves behind me. Well, it was under that. And so my mom looked under there and said, oh my gosh, it is under here. And so we watched for that thing to come out, and Joel came over, and Joel was down there with us. Well, that thing came darting out and ran just as fast as its little legs could go. It ran from under that chest. It went right across like in front of those French doors, and got along the wall there and took off into the theater room, which is right next to where I diamond paint. And Joel saw it go into the theater room. So he said, I'm going to set some traps. I've caught mice before at my mom and dad's house. So he said, I'm going to set some traps, and we're going to get rid of this problem for you guys. So he set some of the traps, the old fashioned kind with the wood and the things that snap. And he set them all over. And he said, since Jenna has seen them twice at her diamond painting desk, I'm going to set like 3 of them around her diamond painting table. And then I'm going to put one in the kitchen, and I'm going to put one in Kennedy's room because we were worried that they were getting into her guinea pigs because they do like the alfalfa hay. So, or the Timothy hay, I should say. So Kennedy was a little concerned that they were going to come into her room and try to get into the hay, and we certainly don't want them biting the guinea pigs because then we could spread some diseases. So she was concerned about that. So Joel said, okay, I got it covered. I'm going to put some of those mouse traps in Kennedy's room under the dresser right by the guinea pigs, and I'm going to put some by Jenna's diamond painting desk. So he set all of those. And then my mom had called and got her pest control people to come and set some more traps today. So they came this morning and set some more traps. Well, get this. So early in the morning at like 6:30, Kennedy texted me. Now, I wasn't even awake yet. Actually, it was 4:30, I think. I wasn't even awake yet. But she had texted me. I saw it when I got up at 6. And it said, Mom, just so you know, Joel went and looked at the, oh, that scared Fallon. Are you okay, bud? Joel went and looked at the traps and they didn't catch any mice. He's leaving now for work. And I said, oh, okay. So I texted her back and just said, all right, thank you for letting me know. So I got to work and I did not even dare go downstairs because I was really nervous about running into a mouse. Now, like I said, I'm not scared of them, but they do startle me because they're so fast. So I guess in a sense I am scared a little bit, but not scared in the sense that, like, if it were a spider, I wouldn't even go down there. Would not even be anywhere in the vicinity of the stairs. I would make somebody go get my diamond painting stuff and bring it upstairs. Would not even be able to go down there. So when I say I'm not scared, I mean, I kind of am, but it's worse if it's a spider. I'm not even going to go down there. I can't really even talk about spiders without getting really freaked out. So anyway, shortly after I arrived, the pest control place came and they set some more traps. He kind of showed me what to watch for, and to make noise when I go down the stairs, turn on the lights, and give it a few minutes, whatever. So that's what I did. While he was there, he sprayed for spiders because we have been seeing some huge spiders lately. And the guy was just really nice and just kind of reassured us that he was going to put some more traps around. And anyway, so then I went downstairs and diamond painted for a little while. Did not have any run-ins with mice today, knock on wood. But when Kennedy came out and was talking to me in the morning, I looked at those, I'm out of that color, 3371. I looked at those traps that Joel sent, and those little stinkers, those mice stole the peanut butter off of the traps. Can you believe it? They legit took the peanut butter right off of those traps. So we've got some smart little mice, apparently. Isn't that crazy? I've heard of them doing that before, but it's pretty crazy that they're actually that smart. But yeah, so they took the peanut butter right off the traps that were around my diamond painting table and my chair. And I also did not bring Fallon over this morning because I certainly don't want him to get into those traps and he could really hurt himself on those. So we released those traps because the pest control place brought traps where the mouse climbs into it. And those are a little safer to have around the dog. So the other wooden ones are gone now, but yeah, they had taken the peanut butter off of a couple of them. But anyway, so that was the exciting stuff going on at my mom's house. Like I said, we've never had mice at her house, and I don't know why all of a sudden this year we're having this problem. I know they're drawn to, they can be drawn to dog food. I don't know how much of a part of it the guinea pigs play in the mouse thing, or if it's just a fluke thing. I'm not really sure. But it started at my mom's neighbor's house, and now they've just kind of made their way over to my mom's. My mom does think that she's been able to hear them in the walls for the past, I don't know, like week. So I think they've just gotten run out of her neighbor's house, and now they've come over to our house. And it's cold, and they're trying to get a warm place. But we just don't want them making themselves comfortable in my parents' house. But that is the excitement going on over there. Yeah, we all went in and woke my dad up yesterday morning when we saw that mouse go under the fridge. I don't think he appreciated that too much, but it was pretty funny. And then let's see. Oh, this is kind of crazy that happened today. So I left for work like I always do, and just kind of left in a flurry a little bit. I had some diamond paintings to take over to my mom's because we were getting ready to take some to Hobby Lobby. So I had come in and out of my bedroom a few times getting those diamond paintings to put into her car. And I don't know if that's what happened or what, but anyway, I went to work and I left Fallon at home with Allie because of the mouse traps, and she was going to bring him on her lunch break. So anyway, I'm at work and Allie called me at about 11 o'clock in the morning. Now I left work at 8. So that's a few hours later. She calls me and she says, Mom, you left one of the cats in your room after you left. And I said, stop it. No, I didn't. And she said, yeah, you did. You left Ione in your room. Now Ione is my female cat. And my guinea pigs are in my room. And that's why I don't let the cats into my room. That's the main reason. The other reason is I just don't like having them in here because they get, in my last house, they were very destructive in my room. Nobody else's room, just my room. So when we moved into this apartment, I decided they were not going to be allowed in my room. So I just keep my door shut all the time. Well, then we ended up getting the guinea pigs. And because they were already not allowed in my room, it worked out to just have the guinea pigs in here where they were closed off from the cats, because I don't know how the cats would handle guinea pigs. I know there are people that have both. I'm aware of that. But my problem is the cage that I'm using for my guinea pigs does not have a top on it. It is an open top cage. And so I have no way of keeping the cats out of the guinea pig cage. I have heard from people that cats usually know that something is a pet, and so they won't go after it. But I don't know. That makes me really nervous. And how do I know for sure until one of my guinea pigs is attacked, and I definitely don't want that to happen. So just my rule of thumb has been to keep the cats out of my room, which is extremely sad for my female cat because she used to sleep with me. And since we moved in here and she's not allowed in my room, she has not been able to come in here and sleep with me. Even before we got the guinea pigs, I wasn't letting her come in. And it's sad because since my daughter is no longer here anymore and that's her cat, Ione has become kind of my cat and I'm kind of her person. Well, Salem has Sydney and Toby has Allie. And Allie keeps her door open every night so that Ione can go in there and sleep with her and Toby if she wants to. But Allie said that a lot of the time Ione won't come sleep with her. I'm getting a drink of my water. So Ione is often left out in the living room by herself. And part of it's by her own doing because, like I said, Allie's room is open. But I think that Allie's bed is kind of Toby's territory. And so Ione doesn't want to go get on Allie's bed. But during the day, Ione cuddles and snuggles with Sydney. It's just that Salem likes to sleep in Sydney's room, and Salem is kind of Sydney's pet. So there have been times where Sydney has let Ione sleep with her, but for the most part, Salem is the one that sleeps in Sydney's room, and Sydney keeps her door shut. So anyway, poor Ione gets the shaft, and I feel really bad for her. So Allie calls, and she says, you left Ione in your room when you went to work this morning. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how many guinea pigs are dead? And she goes, well, you have 3 guinea pigs in the cage. And I said, 3? And she said, well, how many are you supposed to have? And I said, 4. There are 4 guinea pigs. And she goes, well, I'm only seeing 3. My heart sank. I mean, I was so instantly upset. And I said, are you sure? And she said, well, no, I haven't looked in one of the Heidi beds. Well, that's where the 4th one was. So all 4 were in there. And I said, where was Ione when you saw her? And she said, Mom, I came into your room to use your full-length mirror, and Ione was just sitting on the bed. And she's like, at first, I didn't even think anything of it. I just walked in, and I was like, oh, hi, Yones. And then she did a double take, and she's like, oh my gosh, Ione is in here. But she was just sitting on my bed above the cage watching the guinea pigs. It was almost as though Ione had no idea she wasn't even supposed to be in here. But Allie was like, I think she isn't bothering them. And I said, well, she had several hours where she could have if she really wanted to. So I was really happy to hear that she did not bother the guinea pigs while she was locked in my room. That actually makes me really happy. So I don't know. I'm toying with the idea of bringing her in here. I did have her in here again after work today, but I was just kind of watching her, and she just wanted to get on my windowsill and look out the window. So she was up on the windowsill, and it's funny because the guinea pigs were being really active at that time because they get really excited when I get home from work. So they were really active running around the cage, and she just wanted to be on the windowsill looking outside, and they were making a lot of noise, and she would glance over at them once in a while, but she was really just more fixated on being up looking down at everything going on outside. So, I mean, maybe there's a chance that Ione can start sleeping in my room, but I need to kind of supervise the situation a little bit more before I make that decision. But I would like to have her back in here. It used to be so sweet because she'd sleep right on my shoulder, and it was just the cutest thing. But I don't know how Fallon's going to react. It's been so long since she has slept in my bed, and this is pretty much Fallon's bed too. So I don't know. We'll just have to play it by ear and see. But I think I might experiment with that a little bit over the weekend, and see how it goes with having her in the room a little bit more during the day when I can kind of supervise her and make sure she's not going to bother the guinea pigs. But, and Allie said that the guinea pigs were just running around playing in their cage. They weren't even scared at all that she was in there. So that's good. I mean, I'm happy to hear that. Like I said, I mean, I've heard that people have said, well, a cat's not going to go after something that's your pet. Well, yeah, but it makes me a little nervous because I don't know that. And Ione is my hunter. She's kind of the huntress. She's been known to catch birds when we used to let her outside. She would catch birds. She's caught mice before. She caught a mouse at my ex-fiance's house when I was living there. And she also caught a bird there. And she used to go hunt grasshoppers, when we would let her out every once in a while. But now that she's been strictly indoors, I mean, I only had a mouse in my house at one time, and she caught it. She was the one cat out of all three of them that ended up catching that mouse. And so, I know that she's kind of more the hunter than the other two are. That's why it's worried me a little bit to have her around the guinea pigs. But looks to me like she did fine with them. So, like I said, we'll see how it goes. I'm going to play around with that this weekend and hope that she can behave around the guinea pigs. Because I would really, like I said, I'd like to have her back in here. I miss her. And I'm always so sad for her when I go out in the middle of the night and she's just alone laying on the couch. I always feel so bad. She does have one of my blankets out there on the couch, though, that she likes to sleep in. So that's nice. Anyway, okay, let's see. That's our big excitement for the week over at my mom and dad's house was that situation with the mice. Oh my gosh. I told my mom she should just get a cat, and she said no, because she's allergic to cats. So that really wouldn't work. But if she'd just get a cat, that's how my mom's neighbor got rid of hers. I think she did set a couple traps, but she has a cat, and the cats don't even necessarily have to catch the mice. The fact that there's a cat there just has a tendency to scare the mice away. At least that's been my experience. So anyway, but I am very impressed that my mom has not been more freaked out. Now, if it were a snake, my mom would be totally beside herself. Kind of like me with spiders. So anyway, that's been that. And then let's see, what else has been going on? Oh my gosh. Today was a rough day at work because not only was the mouse problem, I keep finding trash drills. Not only was the mouse problem on my mind and kind of making it hard to get stuff done at their house, but my aunt was she was just not really in a great mood today. And it's funny, but not funny. So I'll tell you the story. Because of the shower situation at my mom and dad's house, we did have the physical therapist come over, my dad's physical therapist, and my mom showed her the bathroom and kind of gave her the rundown on the situation and why it's so hard getting my aunt in and out. Now, my dad's physical therapist was my aunt's physical therapist too. So she is very familiar with my aunt's limitations and what she can and can't do. So the physical therapist was looking at the bathroom and said, yes, this is problematic for the situation that you've got. But she's like, look, your bathroom's going to be under construction for a while. So you've got to figure out a way to make it work. And she said, she gave us some pointers. It's too hard to explain, but basically she gave us some pointers on ways that we could, excuse me for just a minute. I'm going to go refill my water. Okay, my throat's been feeling scratchy and I needed to get some more water so that I could take a drink. Anyway, she had given us some pointers on ways that we could eliminate the complicated shower situation, or ways that we could make it a little bit less complicated is what I'm trying to say. So we have taken her pointers and been using it, and the shower time has gone a lot more smoothly. But the new situation that has arisen is that the hot water heater is going out, and it is a very old hot water heater. So I'm not too surprised that it's going out. It's just the timing is kind of crazy because of everything else that's going on. So now the water heater is going out. That means that the hot water doesn't last very long. And this is another problematic thing because my dad takes really long showers. Now he has the water on and off while he's in the shower because he's my dad is very funny about conserving water. And so he turns his shower on and off several times during his shower session. And it takes my dad a good hour in the bathroom to shower. Now that's not an hour of the water running, but an hour of him being in the shower with the water on and off. So anyway, that's a problem for him because his showers take a little bit longer for him because of the situation he's in with one leg. So that's one of the problems that the water heater going out causes. The other problem is it's like Kennedy took a shower the other day and came up to my mom and said, I think something's wrong with the hot water because I just showered and I was only in for like 10 minutes and I could not get the water to stay hot. Well, my mom's like, what? Because that's never been an issue. Their water heater is pretty big and they've never had an issue where they're running out of hot water. So my mom talked to my dad about it and he said, I bet the water heater is going out because it's old. So my mom called my cousin who is doing all of this work on the bathroom and told him that the water heater was going out. And he said, I know, I had planned on replacing that water heater because it's so old, but I'm not going to be able to get over there this week. So, you got to give me a little bit of time. My mom was like, sure, okay, that's fine. So she was just basically wanting his advice about it and wanting to make sure that he was aware of it. So anyway, now we are trying to deal with that. So the hot water doesn't last very long. Sid showers on a day that I'm not washing her hair probably take less than 10 minutes, between 5 and 10 minutes. All I'm doing is soaping her up and rinsing her off. Like I said, on the days that I'm not washing her hair. On the days that I wash her hair, it's a little bit longer than that, but not much. My guinea pigs are fighting. A little bit longer, but not too much longer. I'm going to see what's going on because I feel like Flash is getting picked on. Are you guys being nice? Be nice to Flash. Don't pick on Flash. He sounded like they were hurting him. He was the one that was kind of making that squeaking sound. Anyway, so today, because of the hot water going out and everything, it was not a hair wash day today. So I was just trying to get her into the shower. Now, my aunt woke up in a not so great mood this morning. And bless her heart, for the most part, my aunt is in a good mood almost every day. This week has been a little off for her, and I don't know what's going on because she hasn't acted like she's sick in any other way, but she just doesn't really want to cooperate. And so she's just been off. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. But so I got her out of bed this morning, and my dad needed to shower because he was going to lunch with his friend. So I brought her into the kitchen, and my mom said, let's just feed her breakfast and wait for dad to be done in the shower, and then we can put her in the shower. And I said, okay. So I brought her into the kitchen in her pajamas and got her breakfast, and we were still kind of dealing with the pest control, was just wrapping up the situation with them and all of that. So I got her, she was eating, and I kind of said to her, how are you doing? And she said, I want to go back to bed. So my mom came out, and I told my mom that she said that. And my mom said, you know what, just put her back to bed while dad's showering, because there's nothing that we can do anyway with her right now. Oh, this dog. Just one moment. All right. So anyway, my mom said, well, he's in the shower. Just go put her back to bed because we can't shower her anyway. So I went and put her back into her bed, and she slept for probably 2 hours. And then I went in and said, hey, are you ready to wake up? And she said, yeah. So she got out of bed, and I got her in the wheelchair. And at that point, I could go put her into the shower because my dad was not he was done. He was gone to lunch with his friend. So I took her in there and got her in the shower. And because of the situation with the hot water, I did not run the water to warm it up like I normally would as I'm helping her from the toilet to the shower. I usually have the water running so that the water's heating up. Well, since I know we're out of hot water, I decided what I'd do is just put her in the shower, and then I'd turn on the water and let it warm up after she was in, because it's a handheld shower device, like shower head, where you can take it off and aim it in any direction you want. It's not a shower that goes straight onto her. So anyway, I put her in the shower and got her ready, and I turned on the water, and I did not even look to see where the water was aimed, and it was aimed right on her, and it was freezing cold. So she kind of got upset about that, of course, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. But I started laughing because when that happened, she screamed, and it startled me. And I had jumped, and Fallon started barking because it scared him. And so it was like a chain reaction, all because I didn't see that shower head was pointed right at her. And I felt so bad. So I kind of hugged her, and I'm like, I am so sorry. And I was laughing. Well, she got really mad. And she said, don't laugh at me. And I said, Aunt Sid, I'm not laughing at you. I'm really sorry. I'm laughing at the fact that it scared you. Then it scared me. Then it scared Fallon. It was like a domino effect. And she said, well, don't laugh. And I said, I am so sorry. You're right. I won't laugh. So anyway, then I was showering her, got her done with the shower. And as I was handing her her towel, she said, I'm freezing. And I said, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get your towel as quickly as you can. So I brought her towel over, and I said, I am really sorry about that cold water. And she said, well, do you want me to do it to you? And I said, no, I don't want anybody to do that to me. And then I started kind of laughing again, and she got mad at me for laughing again. And I said, I'm so sorry. And I said, Aunt Sid, have you ever made a mistake in your life? And she said, no, I haven't. And I said, you've never made a mistake in your entire life? And she said, nope. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I wish I was as good as you are. But, it's just my aunt. She's just funny. She doesn't remember things, and she was just mad, as I would be too if somebody doused me with cold water. But anyway, we got through the shower this morning, and she was a trooper. But anyway, I brought her out to the kitchen after I got her dressed, and my mom and dad were both gone, but Kennedy was out in the kitchen. And she said, well, hi, Aunt Sid. And she was talking to my aunt. Well, then I said, Aunt Sid doesn't like me too much right now. And Aunt Sid said, yeah, I don't. And I said, Aunt Sid, come on, I was just kidding. You like me. And she goes, not really. But then I fed her, and she was fine. So, you gotta take care of them and get them over that little moment where they dislike you. But she's okay now. So when I was leaving this afternoon, I went and gave her a hug, and I said, I love you. I'll see you in the morning. And she said, I love you too. So, but yeah, I think it just upset her that I got her doused with cold water, as it would anybody. I felt really bad. I would be absolutely ticked if somebody did that to me, so I understand. But anyway, and then it became a running joke all afternoon, and I said, that is the only time I've ever let that happen, and it was because of the water heater situation. It's not something I do all the time. You guys are making it sound like I always get SID with cold water. And they were like, we know you don't, but it's just funny. Yeah, well, don't laugh around Aunt Sid. She'll chew you out. No. Let's see. I feel like there was something else that was funny that happened this week. I can't think of it. Oh, I think the ultrasound and the blood work was on Monday. I'm still on that. I'm still trying to figure that out. It's perplexing when I can't remember what days things happen. I did get to see Keith for a minute this week. I had a couple packages over at his house that I had ordered in November that I forgot about. So he came and picked me up from work one day and brought me home so that I could get that package from him. And then, anyway, other than that, let's see. Update on the girls. The girls are doing really good. Kennedy's doing good. She's just been kind of trying to maneuver life now that she's not working. It's weird because it's been so long since she hasn't had a job, and not all of a sudden not having a job is just kind of strange for her. But she's trying to get on at some places. She's been turning in resumes and applications and stuff. She hasn't received any calls for interviews or anything, but she has called places back that she applied to. And then Allie's doing really good, staying really busy. She and her boyfriend were here on Sunday. That was fun to hang out and spend some time with them. Actually, it was Saturday. And then they spent time on Veterans Day because Allie didn't have to work that day. So they hung out on Veterans Day. Sydney is doing really good. She is kind of on the struggle bus with school a little bit, but she's getting over it. It's just hard, once you get behind, it's a cycle of trying to get caught back up, but she'll get there. She's been a trooper at trying to get caught back up. I don't want to be yawning already, but I've been doing good for the most part. Staying healthy. Just been really tired, struggling at night to sleep, but this is what happens when I start getting stressed out. Now I'm taking a drink of my coffee. When I get stressed out, my sleep is affected. I think that's how it is for a lot of people. But when I'm getting stressed out, the first thing that goes to the crapper is my sleep schedule. And so I'm hoping that I can get on track on the weekend. I don't know though. Oh, I only have one J. No, I've got more. I have a tendency to stay up late on the weekends, and that's a problem because then come Monday, my schedule's all out of whack. So I'm going to try to make a conscious effort to keep my schedule this weekend. But it's hard, because one of the things that I find very difficult about staying on a schedule is I have friends who are up late and they want to talk, and I want to talk to them because I don't have time to talk to them during the week. My schedule has become really screwed up during the week, and I go to work, and because of not having a car currently, my work schedule's all up in the air. I don't know every day what schedule I'm going to be working. And then work has just been, I never know for sure if I'm going to have time every day. It's like Wednesday, I thought I was going to have some time to diamond paint. Well, then we had the mouse situation on Wednesday. And then, Monday was running around to the doctor and all of that kind of thing. And it's not like it's a lot of stuff going on. Today was a lot of stuff going on as far as running around and getting errands run and things, but we made it through. Anyway, my schedule's just been really screwed up during the week. and I am not able to really spend a lot of time in my social network. And that's been killing me. I really miss my social interactions with people. And you know, for the first few days, and I stay really busy, yes, I miss my friends, and yes, I miss the conversations. But then after about a week, I'm like, holy cow, I feel like I don't even have friends anymore. And it's because I just get so tired and so discombobulated with everything going on and my kids. And then, so sometimes it's like work will be crazy. Then I get home from work and I may have my kids say, hey, we want to watch a movie, or hey, will you do this with me, or hey, will you run me here and there? And so those things kind of take a priority. And then all of a sudden it's time for bed. And I do get in a rut where I'm like, oh my gosh, I need some adult interaction, you know. But at the same time, I have to stick to my schedule and kind of keep myself disciplined a little bit. But it's hard. You know, it's really hard to find a happy medium. And sometimes I just, when I get stressed and I feel like I'm already out of the loop, I just take myself out of the loop. I just kind of throw in the towel. And that's a problem with me. It's a me problem. I'm not really sure how to overcome that. It's part of my personality. If I start feeling like I'm really distant from my friends, then all of a sudden I just don't know how to get back into the groove, and more time will pass, and then it just becomes this cycle. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I do have friends that will text me or call me, or I call them and text them. But as far as trying to keep up on a lot of conversation, I just have a really hard time when I feel like I've missed so much conversation in group convos, and I can't really take the time to go back and scroll through and see what's going on. And so I miss a lot of what's happening. And then I feel like I'm just out of the loop, you know. But if it's one-on-one, then I'm a little bit easier to keep in touch, and I can kind of remember what we were talking about last time I talked to you. And I don't have so many people to keep up with, you know. And it's not that I don't mind a lot of people to keep up with. It's just when times like this get really busy and stressful, then I can't keep up with a lot of conversations because I just simply don't have the time to go back and find out what's going on. And unless I'm actually message, or, you know, unless somebody alerts me to something, I am pretty good about texting. I'm pretty good about receiving and making calls. So phone calls, text messages, I'm pretty good about. I do get notified all the time when I have new emails now that I've downloaded the Gmail app. And the same is true with comments on my videos. Again, we're talking about one-on-one conversations. But when it's conversations that involve multiple people, or sometimes, you know, 10 to 20 people, I simply just get lost. And then I have a hard time getting back in the swing of things. But I feel like sometimes it comes across as, oh, well, she doesn't care about us. And that's not what it is at all. It's just life gets ahead of me. And then pretty soon I'm just like so out of the loop on so many things that I just get overwhelmed and I don't know how to get back in the loop. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at with that. But I do, like I said, if I get, if I have one-on-one with somebody, especially texts or phone calls or messages, then I can usually get back in touch with people pretty quickly. But it's just, I get overwhelmed, and then I get anxiety, and I just start cutting out things that cause me anxiety. Anyway, that's how that goes. But for the most part, I think, you know, I talk to Keith every day. I talk to some of my friends every day. I mean, I'm friends with Kim, the DP hobbyist. I talk to her a lot. I talk to Rebecca, and, you know, we have a lot of one-on-one texting and conversations. I don't so much talk to them on the phone, but that's what I'm talking about. I think sometimes it's just the one-on-one that's a little easier for me to manage. So anyway, if you're offended by the fact that I'm kind of out of the loop of things, just understand that it's nothing against anybody. It's just something I just mentally, I get drained trying to, you know, keep up with stuff. And it's a me problem. It's not a problem with anybody else. But hopefully those people who know me really well can understand and be patient with me about that and not take it personally. I think for the most part, most people are pretty good about that. But I do love group interactions. I just get to the point where I, you know, get overwhelmed and with everyday stuff. So anyway, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this section during this WIP and chat, let alone finish it before I go to bed. I will try a little bit longer and see how far I get, but this diamond painting is so very pretty. I love it. I knew this was going to be a really pretty diamond painting. I mean, when I saw this on Jada Gem Shop's website, I ordered this a year ago. And when I saw it on the website, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so pretty. And what I did that was really fun about this diamond painting is I went into Jada Gem Shop's website. This, like I said, was last year. And I started at the very last page of Jada Gem Shop's images and started working my way forward. And that's where I came across Floresta. Now, it is an image I had never seen before. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this diamond painting would be beautiful. And so I had to get it. But Victoria Lil does have some other diamond paintings on Jada Gem Shop's website. I feel like there used to be more. So I don't know if some of the artwork has been retired. I'm not really sure. If any of you happen to know how long Jade leaves certain images on the website, let me know. But I thought that they would just stay. But I feel like there used to be more from Victoria Lil, but the ones that are left are really pretty. I would like to order more of the artwork by this artist because I think it's very pretty. And then I also found, I was on Jada Gem Shop's website actually a couple days ago, and oh my gosh, I found more art by Martith that I just love. Martith does the most beautiful depictions of animals. I did Happy Feet in 2025, and that was one that is by Martith, and then I have another one in my stash by Martith. I'd like to get more Martith artwork. Oh my gosh, I love them. Love them. And then lots of really cute ones coming out this weekend with Diamond Art Club. I have a Captured by Radiance canvas I want, and I just can't do it all. I mean, I really don't know. I'll probably just use my points or something with Diamond Art Club. I was going to wait until Black Friday, but I really don't have that many points at this point because I've used them lately. So I don't have a ton of points with Diamond Art Club, but I don't know. I'm trying to decide because there is a diamond painting coming out this weekend that is beautiful. It's a mermaid, and I'd really like to get my hands on that one, but I have to kind of see. I may also have, somebody might be getting me that for a Christmas present. One of my kids offered to. Maybe. They didn't say for sure, so maybe. We'll see. But in any case, I'd really like to get that mermaid at some point. Maybe I'll just have to wait for it to be restocked. I don't know, but we'll see. I did, let's see. What was I going to say? There was something else I was going to tell you. Oh, I was going to give you an update on all the animals because I don't think I did that. Fallon's doing pretty good. He started acting a little bit strange today, but I don't think it's the congestive heart failure causing him to act weird. I think Fallon's just being, I don't know. I don't really know for sure what's going on with him as far as his moodiness today. He hasn't been moody. He's just been acting a little bit weird. So I hope he's okay, but he's been playing and everything. I think he's fine. I think, honestly, I think what happens is when I don't bring him in the mornings with me to work, he pouts. And the rest of the day, it's like he's upset with me because I left him. I know that sounds silly, but I really do think that that has some kind of, I think that he does have some kind of poutiness to him where, oh, you're not going to take me to work in the morning? Then I'm going to show you. I've got to find some more 310 because that's not going to be enough to fill in all of these hearts. So for the most part, he is doing okay. Still doing the medication regimen with him, and for the most part, that's going okay. I need to call and get that refilled because I think he's only got a couple days left of his medication. And then the cats are doing really good. We do have one little issue with Toby, though. He's got a dark spot on his chin, under his chin. And Allison looked it up and is worried that it might be cancer. So, because she found a picture of what cancer looks like on a cat, and it's on their chin, it looks just like what Toby has. So Allie is taking him in. She actually called and made an appointment with the vet. I can't remember what day it is that he's going in, but I'm really hoping that that's not. To me, it looks like a burn mark. It looks like maybe he burned himself somehow. Maybe when somebody was cooking something on the stove. Toby is notorious for getting into things. So I don't know if he got into something, but that's what it looks like to me. I just heard my front door open, so I was trying to listen to see. I don't think it's Allie. She's not out of school yet, but that's weird. I don't think we were expecting anyone, so I don't know why the front door would open. Maybe Sydney DoorDashed something. I don't know. The guinea pigs are doing really good. They're just so cute. I just totally love them. Kennedy's guinea pigs, I'm really excited for us to all move in together because I just feel like it's going to be so fun to have. It's going to be a lot of work to have this many guinea pigs, but it'll be fun. The whole thing is, for me, is we just have to really stay on top of cleaning their cages. And I was telling Kennedy that Kennedy doesn't clean her cages as often as I clean mine. I do mine daily. She does clean hers every 2 days, and in between the cleanings, she does kind of do a surface clean, so it's not like it's really dirty. But I just don't, with 10 of them, we're going to have to really stay on top of keeping their cages clean. So that's my main concern about that. But yeah, the guinea pigs are doing really good though. They're cute. So every day when I change their cage, I put the guinea pigs into my shower with some Heidi's, and I put a towel down, so that they can, well, you saw it, if you saw my WIP and chat on Halloween, you saw that they were on a towel. That's kind of what I do with them when I'm cleaning out their cage every day. And then it's very easy for me to just shake out the towel and sweep it up in the shower. And then I just sweep it into a dustpan and we're good to go. I got one of those little mini dustpans for cleaning up guinea pig cages or rabbit cages, whatever. But yeah, so it's kind of funny because I'll put them in the shower and they're getting used to it now. I mean, you'd think they'd be used to it because I've been doing this for so long with them, but they haven't been. And now what I'll do is that's when I kind of sit and hold them for a minute, and I try to hold them all for just a minute, somewhat equally. And then a couple days a week, I like to try to brush them. I do have a guinea pig brush for grooming, and we use some, sorry, I'm trying to get this drill out of there. Doesn't want to come up. There's a little pinhole on the top of that. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So I have some hypersensitive kitten wipes that I use to wipe them down I think I try to do that I'd like to do it twice a week, but I usually just do it about once a week. I'm kind of a slacker when it comes to that. But yeah, so I try to really keep them happy. It's not so much keep them clean. It's just mostly about keeping them happy. They really do like the social interaction. And it's funny because a lot of people don't realize that guinea pigs are very social after they get past their shy stage, because guinea pigs can be very shy, especially when you first get them. But after they get past their shy stage, they're actually really very good companion animals. And I absolutely love my guinea pigs. I don't have any of them that are biters. Once in a while, Milo will kind of nip at me, but I don't know if it's that he's being aggressive or if he just thinks that I'm holding food. It's not a hard enough bite that it hurts. At least it hasn't hurt me. But Kennedy has a couple that are nibble, like they'll nibble on you, but they don't, again, it's not hurtful. It's not painful, but it is enough to kind of surprise you. But she has a friend who's got a little boy that I think he's 2 or 3. And no, he's got to be 3. Maybe he's 4. He might be 4. Anyway, he sits on the floor and holds her guinea pigs, and they're fine with him. But she doesn't like him to hold him while he's standing up, just in case they squirm out of his hands. You know, if he's on the floor, and then they can't really fall. So, yeah. But I just love mine. I just think they're so cute, and I really do enjoy. I feel like they're very entertaining. And I really do enjoy, for the most part, everything about having a guinea pig. It's just, you know, a 10 minutes day of cleaning their cage, which isn't bad in the big, you know, in the grand scheme of things. And the amount of wash, but that again isn't too bad. I just use not my expensive laundry detergent on them, because if I used my expensive laundry detergent, I'd go through my detergent so fast. But I use a cheaper laundry detergent with them. Not a cheaper one, just one that's not as expensive as the one that we use on our clothes. So, you know, with those things in mind, it doesn't get too overwhelming. But they are really good pets, and I'm really grateful that Kennedy got me into guinea pigs again, because it's just been so long. And the ones we had before, as much as I enjoyed them and they were fun and everything, they never really got to the point where they were friendly with us like these are now. I don't think I've ever experienced a guinea pig situation like the one we have right now, because these guys are really friendly. And when I give them treats every night, they come over and sniff my hand, and I can stick my hand in and scratch their heads, and they don't freak out or run and hide. So they've gotten to know me because I spend a lot of time working with them and putting in a lot of time. It takes time. You've got to be willing to put the time in to get the good outcome. But they're fun. They're really fun. So they're doing good. And let's see. Mom and Dad are doing good. I gave you an update on my aunt. I think that's about it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, that's pretty much, I think I've updated you on everybody. Let's talk about the things that I have been listening to. I've listened to a few things since my last Whip and Chat. So when I get stressed, one of the things that really calms me down, other than diamond painting, is to lose myself in an audiobook. I love losing myself in a good book. Now, before I diamond painted, I would read. I read handheld books for so long because it was the same type of thing. If I was stressed, books are where I was going to, because it would kind of take me away from my stress. And that's what I love. So I have been listening up a storm to Audible books. So I listened to recently a series by Brian Freeman about Detective Jonathan Stride. I have one book left of that series, and it is called Zero Night. It will be the last Jonathan Stride book, and I'm really excited to listen to that one. Now, I am going to be listening to that this weekend. I was going to wait, but I've decided I can't wait anymore for that because it's the last book. I was hoping that there would be some talk about another one coming out, but it looks like this will be the final installment to this series. So now that I know that, I'm just going to go ahead and listen to it. But all good things must come to an end, unfortunately, and this is one of the good things that I don't want to end, but I really like the Jonathan Stride books. So I will be listening to that this weekend. The other book that I'm excited to listen to is part of another series, and it is called, the author's name is D.D. Black. So D.D. Black, 2 D's. And I just happened to come across this one while I was waiting for my credits to come through, because I spent all of my credits on the Jonathan Stride books. Yeah. So I'm waiting for my new credits to renew, and then I can listen to the Jonathan Stride book. Now, the D.D. Black books are a series also. They are shorter. They're not as long as the Jonathan Stride books. But it's kind of fun for a change to listen to something that's not quite as long. So I think the one I listened to first, it was called The Bones at Point No Point. I want to say that it was a 6-hour book, but I might be wrong. It was either 6 or 7 hours. The next one, I think, said it was 5. So the one I'm going to be listening to next is called The Shadows of Pike Place. Now, this follows a, I think he was a police officer, and then he retired, and now he's coming back as a private investigator. So I'm really very curious to see where this series goes. And there are quite a few books in this series. I want to say it's like 20 books in this series, if I'm remembering correctly. The Brian Freeman series had about 11, I think. And yeah, so I'm excited to have another go at another series I really love, mysteries and thrillers. So this D.D. Black series is kind of interesting. So that's the next one I'm going to listen to. Brian Freeman actually has another book that I'd like to listen to. He has several, and I'm just trying to decide which one I want to listen to. They are not part of the Jonathan Stride series, but they're just books that I think sound really intriguing. So I might listen to another one, but between Zero Night and The Shadows of Pike Place, I think that might be all I can squeeze into a week. So by the time I do my next WIP and chat, I don't know that I'd have time to do another book, because the Brian Freeman books are a little on the long side, but we'll see. I mean, I'd like to, I just don't know. I'll just have to play that one by ear. But The Bones at Point No Point was an interesting book. It was a little bit of the crime itself was a little bit of a doozy. Like, I did not love that crime story or plot. It was a serial killer, but in the end, I was happy with that book. I thought that was really well done. I'm kind of picky about my stories, so that one was good. I also listened to one I just finished today called The Family Business. It was okay. Wasn't my favorite. The author is John Corwin. I didn't love the person narrating. I didn't love the way they did their voices. And the plot was just really long. Like, there were parts of the book, I want to say it was a 10-hour book. There were parts of the book that I'm just like, oh my gosh, get to the point already. And I don't like feeling that way in a book. But the overall storyline was good. It was just long in some parts, like extremely long. Now, I like the longer books because I like the character development, and this one did have the character development, but like I said, there were just parts that I was just like, where is this going to go? Let's get past this and get to where this is going to go. So I definitely like to have a lot of action too with my long books, or a lot of twists and turns and things like that. But The Family Business was okay. It wasn't my favorite book, but it was good. It was good. So that's one you might be interested in. The other one that I liked was called Killer Motives, and that is by Bonnie Traymore. Killer Motives was intriguing. It was a, it was a mystery, but it was okay. Again, not one of my favorites, but it was a good one, I guess. I would listen to another one by that author. So it wasn't all that bad, but yeah, I don't know. That I have mixed feelings of that after I was done with it, because I just didn't love some of the characters. I have to kind of like the characters, and sometimes if the characters are just not good people, I have a hard time really rooting for them. And you want to root for the main characters, right? I mean, what's the point if it's not a good main character? So anyway, that one was just another one that I would say is okay, but it was pretty good, I guess. That's it in the way of books. What I am going to be watching is, I started watching Walking Dead. I am only one episode in. It's, I don't know, maybe I'm not feeling it or something, but I'm not feeling it. It's just not my jam right now. So I watched one episode, I started the second episode, and I was like, it's not my favorite thing right now. So I turned it off. I did watch Wicked Part 1 again. It's the second time in 2 weeks, but I just can't help myself. So that was good. I just drool over Fierro. I just love him. Love him. So I finished that and watched it a second time. I also started watching the last season of Stranger Things, and I realized that it hasn't really been that long since I watched it last. So I don't know if I'll finish the whole season before Thanksgiving, because on Thanksgiving Day, for those of you who don't know, the most recent and final season will be released in part on Thanksgiving Day. They're not going to release the whole thing on Thanksgiving Day. They're going to do like a part 1 and part 2. I think they already have it all filmed, but they're just going to release it over time. I want to say that part 1 is going to be on Thanksgiving Day, and then I think they're going to do part 2 in December, right? Those of you who are Stranger Things gurus, please let me know if that is incorrect. But I do know for sure that the new season will be starting at least part 1 on Thanksgiving Day. And we're looking forward to that one because my girls and I love Stranger Things. I've tried to get my mom into it because Stranger Things is right up her alley. Like, I think she would really love Stranger Things if she would just give it a chance. My mom loves supernatural. She loves good and evil and fighting it out and that kind of thing. So you'd think that she'd love Stranger Things, but she's not really that into it. And then I feel like I started another show, but I can't remember what it is. We are preparing for Wicked 2. Who is excited about Wicked Part 2 coming out? Oh, I am. I'm so excited. So it will be coming out. We are going to it on the 21st, which is opening day. And I'm going with Kennedy, Allie, Sydney, my mom, and my aunt. And I don't know if Joel's coming. I keep forgetting to ask Kennedy if Joel will be coming with us on opening night or not. But anyway, as far as house hunting goes, we have not found anything for certain yet. And that is part of what is really stressing me out, especially at night. I lay down and instead of going to sleep, my mind goes to, where are we going to move? Where are we going to live? We got to make sure we find a place that is comfortable for everybody. How are we going to do this? Yeah. That's what starts happening in the mind of Jenna. And I don't know how to get it to stop so that I can go to bed. But anyway, so I'm not getting a lot of sleep right now. I found myself coming home taking naps, and then that totally screws me up. So I'm trying to get out of my head about all this stress, but it's just really hard. Anyway, I'm sure a lot of you can understand because I think we're all pretty stressed out as a society right now. Yeah, so I think that is all I have. Let's see. I feel like I was going to tell you something about the house hunting. We have that appointment to see the house on the 25th. And I mean, I hope that one works out, but you just never know, you know. It's a 4-bedroom instead of a 5-bedroom. So if the bedrooms are big enough, then 4 bedrooms will be okay. But if the bedrooms are really small, we need a 5-bedroom because I just won't have room for all of my stuff. And Kennedy and Joel will have a hard time with both of their stuff fitting it all into one room also. So you know, we're just trying to figure it out. It would be nice to have some storage space, because here at this apartment, we don't have any storage at all. And I know that we're going to need storage. So that's just one of those things that we'll just have to try to find a place with storage, so that we're not, you know, I'd like to get all of my stuff out of my mom and dad's house so that I'm not storing so much there. But rentals just often don't have a ton of storage space. So we'll see what we can do. But anyway, I'm still trying to figure out what to do about a car. I'm just gonna have to start putting money away every month and try to get money saved up to get a car. It's just one of those things, you know. So anyway, I'm able to use Kennedy's car a little bit because she's not working right now. Most of the time it's her driving me around, because she likes to get out of the house and go take me places. But she has let me run around a couple places when I've needed to, so I'm grateful for that. But, you know, I can't always do that because that's her car. So I can't rely on her for that too much. But yeah, other than that, you know, just trying to figure my way out, figure my way through this crazy time right now, but we'll get there. All right, well, I think that's about as far as I'm going to get in this WIP and chat. But look at all that confetti. I mean, it's just really amazing. It's really cool. I can't wait for you guys to see this when I do my mid-month WIP parade I'll be filming that on Saturday. It'll probably go up on Sunday. But, oh, and that brings me to content. I'm going to have an unboxing on Saturday that is going to be a really cool unboxing. So watch for that. And then on, like I said, Sunday, my mid-month WIP parade should go up on Sunday. I'd like to have it filmed, ready to go on Sunday. So hopefully, fingers crossed, if everything runs smoothly, that will be up on Sunday. And then next week, let's see, I have another unboxing to share with you next week, not this week. And then, I mean, this week I do have an unboxing, but it's just the one. Next week will be another unboxing. And then we have a couple of other things I can't think of right now for next week. And then the week after, I will be recording my WIP and chat on Thanksgiving night. So that should be fun. Yeah. And then that will go up on the 28th on Black Friday. Wow. But okay, I think that's where we're at for tonight. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're all doing really well. Please let me know in the comments what you're working on. I would love to hear from you. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.
Play him at her funeral.
We have something called Sid-isms in our family. And it is things that Sid says that are just random, that just come out of her mouth. Like the other day, she woke up and she said, "Someone needs to test my unit." And I'm like, test your unit? What were you dreaming about? So I went into her room and I said, "Good morning." And I said, "What unit are we testing?" And she said, "You need to test my unit." And I said, "I don't know what you're referring to." And then what is another one? She just says the funniest things.
That is.
Oh, so what it turned out that it was is she has an alert system in her room for if she falls, she can push a button and or does she yell?
She can do.
She can either yell or push a button, and they come on the intercom and say, "Do you need assistance?" And that morning, it came on and said, "You need to test your unit." So that's what she was referring to. But it took us a bit to figure out that that's what it was.
You know why that's so funny?
Anyway, it was funny. Flash is just precious. He is so sweet. He is laying on top of a bed. It's a little bed that has a canopy on top of it. They were just on top of their little bunny bed, but they got down for a minute. There's Keanu and Clancy, and Milo is slumped right here. I just got to work. It is Wednesday morning, and I went in and said good morning to Sid in the most lovely, happy way possible. And she said, "Hey, get out of here." Guess she's not in the mood for it today. Hi. Are they doing a lot of work upstairs? Lots of noise, huh? Is it kind of stressing you out a little bit? It's okay. See, I really don't like being on my leash, but we gotta keep you out of the way so you don't get run over.